All right, beautifuls. Well, thank you so much, sacred rebels, rebel priestesses, for being here and for being on time. Looks like we've got a small group here. We'll see who else trickles on with us, but I love that we get to just enjoy each other's company and go deep and just get really delicious this evening. So, a happy new year, happy 2018. So we're here, this webinar, this class, which is going to be very interactive, is called Manifest Powerfully as a Sacred Rebel. And this is all about mending the world with divinely guided, not divinely divided, divinely guided defiance, sacred sedition, and to be moving through the world as powerful women who are fully unplugged from the patriarchy. So I wanted to start out with a quote, and then I'll introduce myself. This is just something that I wrote for a workshop that I taught this summer, and it was just kind of like a love letter to my women's community. So it is, we Western women take our freedoms for granted. Freedoms that should be every woman's birthright. We logically know that we are destined to mend the earth, but it's easy to get distracted by our to-do lists and our lives and to move about in a disjointed, unorganized way versus moving forward with our arms linked together, deeply aligned, manifesting hugely and consistently, supported by each other and by divine guidance. And ultimately, we are still stuck in the trap of trying to do it alone. And we are still trying to operate from within some tired old paradigms. And we women are in great need of aligning our sacred values, our sovereignty, our vision, and our mission with divine guidance and with the support of a tribe of sisters who are also aligned, women trailblazers who lead with pleasure and mend the world with divinely guided rebellion. So those of you that just hopped on, I was just reading a little love letter. Beautiful. Okay, great. So I get a couple women are messaging me. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Sherry. And it's written here, O Hagen. I guess that's somebody's last name. So if you're O Hagen, will you write in what your first name is? Just so I don't keep calling you O'Hagan. Write that in the chat box. And Harmony, I see you. I haven't seen you for a million years. So wonderful to see so many familiar faces with me tonight. So I'm Jessica Hadari, and I support spiritual women trailblazers to lead with pleasure and mend the world with divinely guided rebellion. So please type yes into your chat box if you are looking to live as an aligned woman healer, an aligned woman trailblazer in your own way in 2018. Please write in yes if you're excited about 2018 and being even more in your power and living with even more courage. And awesome. Okay, so Holly. Oh, Holly. Okay, fantastic. So that's Holly. I'm going to try to remember that. Holly says yes. Sherry says yes, absolutely. Amy says yes. Awesome. And if you're excited about just even unplugging even more, just shedding even more shoulds of the patriarchy and unplugging even further from those tired old paradigms, please write in yes. Harmony says yes. Thank you. If anyone else wants to chime in, and please write yes if you're ready to unplug even further from the patriarchy. Let that shit go. Awesome. Amy says yes again. Fantastic. All right. So I just want to take a moment to acknowledge you, beautiful women. I know that for me, connecting in circle, even though we're not like live with each other in person, connecting in circle with women like you is my self-care. It is where I get my best ideas and my downloads in conversation and collaboration in limbic resonance and heart space with women like you. And I can feel the chemicals of bonding and healing and relaxation running through my body. And I just love those chemicals of bonding that our bodies produce when women connect. And those chemicals are the antidote to stress hormones. And when I'm running those delicious chemicals of connection and relaxation and bonding, like I am an open channel. I'm open to receiving information from my higher self. You might call it divine guidance. That's what I'll be calling it today. So I'm so happy that you're here. And my intentions for our time together, we have a short time together here, is that this is a retreat from your to-do lists. That our time together this evening is a haven from the intensity of the world out there, and that this is an oasis of resources that will draw you even more deeply into your higher power, your deep goddess knowing, your center, so that you can go back out into the world, back out into 2018 after this call as an even more deeply centered woman who is deeply resourced, that you could feel your sisters around you, and that you could feel your spiritual path under your feet. So let me just talk about the flow of what's going to happen over the course of the call, and then we're going to dive right in. So in a few minutes, a few moments, we're going to do a warm-up exercise. And then I'll be teaching you or speaking with you, and we'll actually be dialoguing. So I'm going to be asking you, ladies, to be typing in your chat boxes. There will probably be moments where I'll actually unmute you. So we're going to be talking about sovereignty, what that means, and the 3 gateways to create powerfully and manifest hugely on your own terms. And when we say this isn't all about being like a one-woman army. This is really creating powerfully and manifesting, supported by divine guidance and ideally supported by each other. And which leads us to sisterhood. We'll also be talking a lot about sisterhood and 3 tribal energies that will help you to detox from tired old paradigms. When we talk about detoxing from tired or old paradigms, it's not like you just detox and then you're done. It's just like any kind of, way that you might nourish yourself, or speaking of nutrition, for example, sometimes we have to detox over and over again throughout our lives and continue to kind of shed layers. So I think of detoxing from the patriarchy or from detoxing from tired or old paradigms is an ongoing process. It is part of my work as a modern day priestess, so that I am clear, I'm aligned, I'm deeply centered. We're going to talk about amplification and what that means, and how the ancient superpower of pleasure is your key to manifesting not only hugely, but manifesting consistently. And then we'll talk also about vision and coming into clarity with what you're calling in, so that you can expand your capacity to actually lean back and receive, which is cultivating your capacity to lean back to receive is what allows you to create more while actually doing less. It allows you to generate more, but to be fully resourced versus kind of like becoming more and more empty or emptying out your cup. We'll have some small group discussions through our time here today, and we'll do some Q&A. And at the very end, for those of you that want more, I will let you know about a really beautiful invitation for something happening next week. But we're going to do a lot here. So again, I'm Jessica Hadari. I support spiritual women trailblazers to lead with pleasure and to mend the world with divinely guided rebellion. And we're here to talk about how to manifest powerfully as a sacred rebel, as a rebel priestess. How do we mend the world with divinely guided defiance and sacred sedition, fully unplugged from the patriarchy? So, all right, beautifuls, are you ready to dive in? I'm excited to start. I'm going to give you a link to your handout. I emailed this to you, but you might have missed it, or if you were out and about, you might not have it. So here's the link right here. I'm going to go ahead and write handout. And it's a beautiful handout. And if you are in a place where you can print it, then please go ahead and print it. It's really lovely. You can actually take actual physical notes actually on it. And if you're on your phone or you're not, a printer isn't available, that's totally fine. You can come back to this handout and use it during our time together and come back to it later. So that's our handout. I just posted it. And so you can click on that and pop right up. I also just want to say real quick is that in the photographs that you saw when you were signing on for this webinar, had pictures of my tattoos. And so I just wanted to presence, like, yes, that was me. Yes, those are my tattoos. And it's winter time, so I really don't feel like shaving my head this time of year. So it's under here, it's hidden. But anyway, just some women were asking, like, is that you? It is me, and my tattoos have gone into hibernation. So here's an exercise, and I'm actually going to have you type in your answers. And this is I'm asking you to be transparent, and I will as well. And so this is a sentence stem. And so I'll give you some examples. So what it's going to sound like is you're going to presence like a conscious identity or a value of yours. And I'll give you an example in a moment. But then you're also going to talk about a moment or times where you waver from that value or that conscious identity. So one example is, I consider myself to be a steward of the earth, right? So I identify as being a steward of the earth. That's alignment with my values, right? I want to take care of the planet. But here's where I out myself. Here's where I waver. But I order a lot of stuff from Amazon. So it's kind of like I say that I'm this, and I identify with being this, a steward of the earth, but I order stuff from Amazon, and I know that there are aspects of that are really not that great for the earth. Let me give another example, and I'm going to have you type in yours in a moment. So another one is I am committed to speaking my truth, and yet I go silent when people in my family say bigoted or ignorant political things, right? So the conscious identity or the value is, I'm a woman who speaks my truth. I'm a good communicator. I'm direct. But when it comes to family members saying things that I really don't agree with, I often actually become silent because I don't want to stir things up. I'm trying to avoid conflict. One more example is that I deeply honor the wisdom of elderly women. I love elderly women. I have a great relationship with my grandmothers while they were alive. So that's my conscious identity or my value. I deeply honor the value. I deeply value the wisdom of elder women. But where I out myself is that sometimes I hold judgments that elderly women are bad drivers. So that's kind of a silly one, but it might be one that you identify with. So there's all of these ways where we identify as being conscious, amazing women healers. And every single woman on this call is. Like the women who, just like looking out at your names and the women who came to this call, you are all these incredible, powerful women. I know more than half of you. But there are these ways that we sometimes do not fully live in our power or our truth. So I'm going to give you a few moments, and I may even call on your name if I don't hear from you, but I'd like you to take a moment to presence a value, an archetype or a value or some way that you see yourself being, and then go ahead and out yourself. But sometimes whatever that is. So I see Meredith Mills, I see Harmony, I see Terry Moon. Oh, I see Yara. Yara, I'm so happy you're here. I see Amy. I see Lorna Sass. So I would love to just give you a moment to go ahead and write your. I'm gonna. You know what? I'm not hearing from anyone, so I'm gonna unmute you.
And like in the middle of a weeknight when
That was a terrible idea. Okay. Oh, all right. So I'm gonna wait. I'm not gonna continue the webinar till I hear from like 5 or 6 of you. Because what good is it to like be in the conscious healer conversation without being really real about the ways that we all kind of are taken out of our centers or allow ourselves to engage in systems that maybe aren't so great for everybody. Okay, awesome. So Jennifer says, I really relate to wanting to commit to speaking my truth, but keep silent when my parents and others out in the world. Yes. And Sherry Heinrichs, I'm highly connected to nature, the redwoods and the ocean. I'm now living in town and rarely get to my sacred forest for connection. Absolutely. Yeah, we could all probably use a little more nature to really nourish the truth of who we are. All right, waiting. Oh, Harmony, I believe in courage, and in social situations, I chicken out all the time. Yeah, I can relate with that as well. I'm very gregarious when we're on the call together, but I have a very shy, introverted side as well. Okay, beautiful. So let's see. Holly, I believe that I'm a healthy woman. I eat in stages, very clean, but I allow my saboteur self to go out of control and eat poorly too often. Yeah, and we just came out of the holidays, and I know so many women around me got really, really sick, and it's not just the virus and stuff that's going around. It's like the sugar, it's that stuff that we kind of know we're not supposed to eat, but we did, and it's like we're on vacation. These are the holy days, but that's actually during these holy days is when we oftentimes get pulled out of our center. Go into old kind of childhood patterns as well. I'd love to hear from just a couple more, and then we're going to move on. So any place where you're just like, yes, I'm this, and sometimes I'm this. Terry Moon, I'm a political activist, but sometimes I'm burned out in passive activity to share my point of view when I don't think it will matter much. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much, Terry. Yeah, I can resonate with that, with aspects of that as well. Let's hear from one more, and then we're gonna dive into some content. Oh, awesome, Yara. Yes, first of all, I'm so happy you're on the call, Yara. Beautiful. So nice to connect with you, sister. So Yara says, I believe in treating sisters with respect, even when in disagreement. And yet, after a sister censored me in a Facebook group, I reacted with a passive-aggressive post before fully processing my emotions and responding as a transformational leader that I am or claim to be. We've totally all been there. I imagine there's some fiery women on this call. I'm a fiery woman. That's one aspect of me, and I definitely put my foot in the mouth where it's like I clicked send before I had a chance to, so girl, I see you. I resonate with you. So beautiful. Thank you so much for playing with me. I think it's important to start the conversation with that piece. I really appreciate all of you for sharing. So let's, before we talk about the 3 gateways to create powerfully and manifest hugely as sacred rebels, I want to define rebel. So when I talk about rebel, the way I'm defining the word is really more synonymous with revolutionist, which revolution, to be a revolutionist really is more of a, I'll go ahead and just type that in, is more of a standing with energy versus fighting against, right? When I'm a revolutionist, I'm taking a stand for what I believe. I am in alignment with my natal agreements. I am in alignment with my soul assignment. So when I say rebel, it's not about fighting against necessarily, but really more standing in alignment, standing with, standing for. Beautiful. Yara says, standing with energy. Awesome. Thanks, Yara, for typing that in there. I want to just also define patriarchy and matriarchy, because those might be words that I use, and just so we're on the same page. So the word patriarchy is really just a Greek word, patriarche, which I'm sure I'm botching the accent on that, which just means father of the family. That's all the word actually means. However, when I use the word patriarchy during our time together, and probably in the future, I'm talking about tired old paradigms of power over, lose-lose systems, of which Trump is the perfect mascot for. So we're probably on the same page about that particular definition. Let's talk about matriarchy. Matriarchy, just like patriarchy, it simply means mother of the family. But when I'm talking about matriarchy in my life or during our time together, I'm really talking about an archetype. like a beautiful archetype, a new way of being, a new paradigm. I'm talking about matriarchy as a process, or almost as like a lifestyle that has nothing to do with having power over. It's really more, how can we all live together in this new paradigm, okay? Please type in yes if that resonates with you. We'll have Q&A a little bit later. So, oh, awesome, great, it's resonating. Damina, Harmony, Yara, awesome. Okay, so here is where you'll probably need your handout. If you don't have it, that's okay. I typed in the link a little bit earlier. I'll go ahead and type it in now, because some of you, here's the link to your handout. If you came in a little bit late, here is the link right here for you. Beautiful. Terry Moon says absolutely resonant. Awesome. I'm glad this is resonating. Oh, I'm so happy to be here with you, ladies. Okay, so let's dive in. So if you're looking at your handout, you're looking at the very first page, you'll see 3 circles. The pink circle is sovereignty, which is all about weeding your garden. Sovereignty is really unplugging, detoxing from the patriarchy and tired old paradigms, and loving and living outside of the rules and the trance of the status quo. So sovereignty is really creating powerfully on your own terms, supported by your values, okay? So what I'm actually going to do, we're going to do a little share. We're going to do another little share. I told you this is going to be interactive. Within the circle of sovereignty, within the gateway of sovereignty, sovereignty being one of the 3 gateways to creating powerfully and manifesting hugely as a sacred rebel. Within the circle of sovereignty, this gateway of sovereignty is, I have to presence radical self-care. Radical self-care. And I wanted to ask you, and I'd love to hear from some of you, how does creating powerfully or unplugging from the patriarchy relate with radical self-care? Like, what has your experience been? Radical self-care or self-care, unplugging from the patriarchy, radical self-care, and creating powerfully. And I'd love to hear some thoughts from some of you. How does radical self-care or self-care relate with creating powerfully, or relate with unplugging from the patriarchy? How do you connect those things? I see some women writing, so I'll take a pause. While you're writing, I'll go ahead and type this in. I still would love to hear from you. Oh, beautiful, that the feminine is value. Beautiful. Jennifer says, in my lineage, women were expected to drop everything and take care of the men in the family. Yes. I think regardless of our cultural upbringing, I think we are all, as Western women and Eastern women, shedding aspects of that. Absolutely. Damina, radical self-care re-energizes me and helps bring in source of essence and power. Absolutely. Beautiful. Beautiful. I'm going to go ahead and type something in as well. This is a quote from a dear friend. Amy says, self-care gives me back my sacred inner space. Beautiful. So my friend Rowena, I was talking to her a few months ago, and she said, she's this beautiful, older Black woman. She's like one of those women I want to be when I grow up. I just really love her. She said, Jessica, joy and pleasure is my deep opposition to the patriarchy. And I would add to that prosperity also. For me, having a prosperous business, I have a business that's in the 6 figures. For me, prosperity, being my own breadwinner for me and my son, that is my deepest opposition to the patriarchy as well. So I'm loving what you're all saying. Self-care helps me to feel grounded and centered. Radical self-care, scheduling and honoring pleasure, play, rest is unplugging from the patriarchy. Beautiful. Jennifer says, visualizing unattachment and release. Beautiful. Power poses. Awesome. Great. Thank you, Jennifer. So when I'm in my radical self-care, I am elevating my consciousness, right? people feel my intention more deeply when I am like more fully present and more in my center, and they want to be around me. It is an attractor when I am in my self-care, I'm in my pleasure, and that in itself is an attractor. When we talk about sovereignty, I'm going to go through a few more bulleted points of sovereignty, this gateway of sovereignty. We also talk about our values, right? To be sovereign is to be supported, be alignment and be supported by your values. And so it is something that one of my dear friends, Marcia, was talking about, that she does every year or so. She does a values audit where she goes through, just like we were typing in earlier, like I am a steward of the earth. Let's see, what were some of the other ones? I am powerfully political. Some of the other ones you ladies wrote, I believe in treating sisters with respect. I believe that I'm a healthy woman. I believe in courage. These are some of the beautiful things that you wrote a few moments ago. And Sherry says I'm going in and out. Is anyone else having that problem of hearing me? Anyone else having a problem hearing me? Okay, all right, so it sounds like I'm good, and Sherry, it sounds like it might be you. It's you, it's not me. Okay, so values audit. So this is a little homework that I want to give you. I want to invite you to go home and just stream of consciousness, do some journaling, and just outline some of your values. Like, what makes you a modern day priestess? What makes you a powerful woman? What makes you a woman activist? What are those values? And to actually just give yourself a little audit. Like, what are the activities that you're engaging in that might actually be pulling you out of those values, right? Out of your sovereignty, out of your power. I also recommend doing a relationship audit. I like to, every couple of years, just reassess, who am I spending my time with? Who am I surrounding myself with? Are the people that I'm surrounding myself with in alignment with my values? Are they in alignment and support with what I'm creating? Right? So part of creating as a sacred rebel is to let go of the one woman army, right? The sacred rebel is like, we are rebellious together. We create change, and we are trailblazers because we have the support of sisters and brothers around us who are aligned with our vision and our mission. So this is in sovereignty, in this gateway of sovereignty. This is where we talk about detoxing from old paradigms, right? The one tired old paradigm is the starving woman or the starving healer. That's a tired old paradigm that's got to go. The starving woman, the starving healer. Another tired old paradigm is the lone wolf or the one woman army I just spoke about. It just doesn't serve us, right? Our literally, as women, our tissues cannot handle the stress of trying to heal the world all by ourselves. Like, it's just, it's like the antithesis of what is needed right now. The third tired old paradigm that we need to detox from as conscious women is the rat race, right? It is allowing ourselves to go into stress responses and addictive patterns that keep us in our brains, that keep us in stress, that keep these hormones running through our bodies. These stress hormones are like battery acid to our feminine tissues, right? The rat race is such a tired old paradigm. How can we create from a place of receiving and leaning back and create movements through collaboration and coming together versus trying to just muscle through and pull up our bootstraps? And, so those are three tired old paradigms that gots to go. I'll go ahead and type those into our little message here for you to chew on. So let's talk about sisterhood. I told you that part of what we're going to talk about here is the three types of tribe or tribal energies that support the rebel priestess, or that support you as being a powerful woman change maker. So the first is the Sisterhood of Sacred Rebels. And I'm going to read this. My friend Natalie, some of you may know Natalie Chaperon. She was in conversation with me, and we were actually recording our conversation. And this is my paraphrasing of what she said. So this is Natalie's wisdom, and it's just so deeply resonant. She says, being in sisterhood with other sacred rebels, where we don't have to fight for space or our own individuality because we are all on the same path. Sisterhood normalizes and encourages us to stay on the path lovingly, with support, with love, with compassion, where making the right decisions is actually the easiest path rather than the hardest one. Sharing resources, being in this together, making it as easy for each other as possible to be aligned women trailblazers who are mending the planet. Isn't that beautiful? So the Sisterhood of Sacred Rebels in the Gateway of Sovereignty, if you're looking at that on your handout, you can just imagine the Gateway of Sovereignty. The Gateway of Sovereignty being one of the gateways to leading as a woman trailblazer, as a sacred rebel, that requires, that sovereignty requires that we surround ourselves with people, in this case with sisters, who are in alignment with our vision and our mission, and alignment with our values. Okay, so let's take a look at the handout, if you've got the handout, and we're going to look at the second gateway. The second gateway is the purple gateway on your handout, and it is vision. And vision is all about manifesting consistently and with longevity, supported by divine guidance. Okay, so let's talk about that a little bit more, and we're going to do a little more interactive exercises here. So the vision gateway, the gateway of vision, is all about planning your garden, right? Sovereignty is kind of weeding your garden. We talked about the values audit. We talked about the relationship audit. We talked about detoxing from tired old paradigms so that you can be fully in your power and create on your own terms, powerfully. Vision is all about planning your garden, coming again and again and again and again as a practice, coming again into clarity with what you are calling in, so that you can manifest consistently, supported by divine guidance. So let's talk about this a little bit, where I'm just going to bring in the topic of creativity, and how creativity is directly linked with vision, and how your vision, it's like when you couple creativity and vision, it's like that in itself is this gateway to living as a divinely guided creatress. Okay, so I want you to just share your thoughts here in the chat about your thoughts about how creativity relates with vision, how creativity opens you to be divinely guided, or to be more connected to your higher self. So I'd love to hear some of your thoughts, maybe just from even just 2 or 3 of you. We're not going to spend quite as much time on this one, but I'd love to hear your thoughts, your wisdom. There's so much wisdom on the call here. We've got 16 beautiful women here. Thank you so much for being here. Would love to hear your thoughts about creativity and vision. Creativity and being a divinely guided creatress. And there's definitely some overlap with that self-care piece that we talked about before. So if you had additional thoughts about that you wanted to type in, now's the time. I'd just love to hear from 2 or 3 of you. 2 or 3, maybe a couple ladies that haven't chimed in as much. Creativity, what is the relationship between creativity and vision? Between creativity, beautiful. Okay, oh, beautiful, Dami. I would keep wanting to call you Damiana. Damina. When I paint or do art, I get in a zone where vision comes to guide me in other aspects of my life. Absolutely, yes. Harmony says, when I'm doing practices that exercise creativity, I feel like my vision expands. Beautiful. And I'll add that when I'm, awesome, Yara, beautiful. I'll read yours in a moment. For me, one big expression of my creativity, and I know this is also for you, Yara, and many of you here, for me, dance. dance is such a huge expression of my creativity, even when I'm dancing alone as part of my practices. And when I'm in that embodied space of dance, that is where I receive some of my deepest downloads. It's like an immediate channel opens up for me to just receive answers for questions that I've been holding. Beautiful. Yara says, when I'm tapped into source, my creativity flows effortlessly. The more manifestations come into fruition. Absolutely. Yes. Thank you, Yara. Amy says, creativity opens up intuition and gets me into flow. Awesome. Yara says, yes, dance. That's my sanctuary. I love that you put sanctuary. It's my sanctuary. Okay, so vision, the portal of vision, the gateway of vision. This is where we start talking about clarity accelerators. Clarity accelerators. Let me type that in. Clarity accelerators are simply this. They are practices or rituals that give clarity, right? It could be dance rituals. It could be painting. Usually it has some creative aspect. Clarity accelerators. It could be journaling. This is also in this vision portal, and this vision gateway is also where we start talking about divine guidance rituals, right? Some of those can be one and the same. For me, dancing, I often come into clarity, right? I receive those downloads, and oftentimes my experiences of those downloads are divinely guided. I can trust the information that comes in when I'm engaging in my practices and my rituals, where the intention of those practices and rituals is to clear, is to open, is to open into my creativity and my powerful creatress self. Not because I'm efforting and forcing power, but because I'm opening myself up to receive wisdom and divine guidance from my higher self. Does that resonate with you? Awesome. Jennifer says, whether I feel pleasure, beautiful. Awesome. Great. Damina says, yes, it resonates. Thank you. So I want to talk about the tribal energy, right? I told you we'd be talking about the 3 tribal energies that go with being a sacred rebel, a supported sacred rebel. So the second tribal energy in terms of sisterhood is a sisterhood of sacred others. We talked about the sisterhood of sacred rebels, right? Surrounding yourself with women who are aligned with your mission and your values. And now I'm going to go ahead and just paste this in. Now we're talking about the sisterhood of sacred others. What does that mean? Sisterhood of sacred others. So sometimes just by fully living, just by being fully aligned with your spiritual path, stirs up the shadow in others, right? So as a leader, you are always dancing with the shadows of others. And these stirrings of shadows are also always opportunities for growth for everyone. So I want you to, if we were in a live workshop here, I would actually have you break into little dyads. And I know that I can break you into dyads on the thing. We're not going to do that. But I'll tell you what the exercise I would give you, because that in itself may just stir up rememberings. So if we were in a live workshop right now, I would break you into dyads or triads, and you would share a time where you were just being yourself, or you were in your leadership, and someone else made a snarky comment. Or maybe if you're an entrepreneur, they complained that your prices were too high, or there was some kind of jealousy, or maybe you've been in a relationship where you were made to feel crazy just for asking for what you needed, or you were made to feel crazy just for being in your power. Okay? So as I speak these, I know we're not actually going to do the dyad share, but does this have you had experiences of this before, where just by being yourself, being in your power, you felt the shadow stirred up in others? Okay, great. Jennifer says, oh my gosh, yes. Damina, LOL. Yara, all the time. Holly says, yes. Yeah. So the sisterhood of sacred others is like where you create a container, or you are in a container where speaking your desires, where you are speaking your desires to women who are holding the highest, most positive intentions for you and your highest, most blessed life. Period. This means that you're sharing in devotional space with other like-hearted women or people. In this case, we're talking about women because we're all women here. Like-hearted women who are committed to repairing the world and who all of those women know that reparations start with yourself and start with themselves. Okay, so the Sisterhood of Sacred Other is almost like you're in a community of women, a tribe of women. You're surrounding yourself with women who are willing to be the proxies for those moments when the shadow is stirred up. But because they are women who are holding highest intentions for you and highest prayers, like truly, truly, and who are really understand that making world reparations starts with themselves, right? And kind of doing our own shadow work and our own little shadow work with each other, then it creates a place for you to work out some of that shadow stuff that shows up in other parts of your life in a really sacred container, in a way that doesn't feel like you're doing shadow work. It just feels like you're just showing up and being yourself and being totally loved for that. That's the Sisterhood of Sacred Other is a sisterhood of reflection, but not just reflection, positive reflection, right? Because like life is hard. We don't need like our women's circle to be like a place where we feel more owies, you know, like so hopefully that resonates with you. Okay, so we're going to switch gears. We've got a little bit further to go. So we're going into the third portal, the third gateway. And the third gateway is so much fun. Oh, I love the third gateway. The third gateway, this gray circle on the first page of your handout, is amplify. And oftentimes, we powerful women, we want to shoot straight to amplify without considering our sovereignty, our values, our mission, surrounding ourselves with people who are in alignment. We want to jump straight to amplification without having a clear vision. And not only our own clear vision, but opening up to divine guidance as part of our vision, right? And surrounding ourselves with sisters who are reflecting our love back to us in a nourishing way. So amplify is all about creating more and manifesting hugely while actually doing less. So this to amplify, and I'm kind of diving right into the tribal energy here. This is all about being supported by tribes who are in alignment with your assignment. Okay, but let's talk a little bit more about amplification, and then we'll take it from there. So amplification is all about seeding and nourishing your garden, right? Sovereignty was weeding your garden. Vision was planning your garden. Amplification is about seeding and nourishing your garden, right? Like even my body just kind of wants to be more in pleasure, which we'll talk about in a moment. So amplification is expanding your capacity to receive and attuning your body to prosperity, attuning your body to abundance so you can create more and manifest hugely while actually doing less. So this is where we start talking about pleasure as a tool. This is also where we start talking about sex magic, right? We're talking about the gateway of amplification. We've just talked about sovereignty. We've just talked about vision and divine guidance. Now we're talking about amplification. And this is where we talk about pleasure and sex magic. So I want to tell you a very brief story. About 10 years ago, about 8 years ago, I became very, very, very sick. I had part of my cervix removed. I was in chronic pain for years of chronic neck pain from several car accidents where I was rear-ended. I ended up, because I was in chronic pain for so long and dealing with some illness stuff already, my immune system became very suppressed. And I ended up having 7, possibly 8, 7 or 8 outbreaks of shingles. The first outbreak actually happened on my face, which is why you see a little bit of paralysis on this side of my face. The last outbreak actually happened in the cranial nerves in my brain. And I actually had a hard time speaking for a couple of days. So during this time of like intense, debilitating illness, I started to, I couldn't even be at my computer. It was too painful. It's like I couldn't do like a lot of marketing stuff, and I couldn't go out there and speak, and I couldn't really be out there networking. So I started to engage in pleasure practices, which I can go into more deeply. It's like another webinar. I started engaging in pleasure practices. I started engaging in sex magic, which just the brief version, as I started to pair manifestation rituals with pleasure, specifically sexual pleasure, in a really beautiful, sovereign, we're not talking about pornography, we're like this really beautiful libidinous experience of using pleasure to manifest. And in a very short period of time, like within a couple of years, I went from being on food stamps, because I'd been ill for a very long time, went from being on food stamps to having a business in the 6 figures. And when I say I have a business in the 6 figures, I have a very relaxed, sustainable business. I only work 3 days a week. I also, during this time of intense illness and even my facial disfigurement, which used to be much worse than it is now, I ended up attracting 3 men who wanted to spend their lives with me. And I'm still with the dude that I chose. So the only thing that I can really attribute this amazing, miraculous attraction to is engaging in amplification, pairing pleasure with manifestation practices. Okay, and I'll give you a little more information about how to learn more about that a little bit later. We'll go into that. So amplification is all about attuning your body to prosperity, cultivating your capacity to hold the life that you are calling in. This is all about engaging in ease and grace accelerators, rituals that allow you to create outside of the constructs of time, rituals that allow you to cultivate your ability to open to receive. And I just typed some of that in there from my notes. And the sisterhood energy, the third tribal energy that I want to talk about that goes with amplification, is the sisterhood of co-creation. This is all about surrounding yourself with queens, surrounding yourself with women who are in their power, who are in their sovereignty, who have clear vision. This is all about surrounding yourself with conscious women leaders. Like, you may have a business coach, you may have a therapist, you may have a women's circle, but know the value of surrounding yourself with queens, right? Or we might say in this webinar, with priestesses, other sacred rebels. This is all about having a community of women who choose collaboration and positive support. These are women who have connection with the divine. They've done the shadow work. And when you surround yourself with other queens, with women who are in their power and who've also done the work, other aligned women trailblazers, then you are in their magnetic Magdalene field. And I'm not going to go really deep into the Magdalene field, but it's like the experience of manifesting as a community instead of only manifesting by yourself, right? We talked about the one-woman army earlier and how that's a tired old paradigm. So when my business hit that 6-figure mark, when I first hit that 6-figure mark that I was telling you about a moment ago, other women that I was like really close with, their businesses also started to pop, right? We were absolutely in a magnetic Magdalene field together. Like, as my business grew, their businesses grew. As their business grew, my business continued to expand. So that's just an example of the magnetic Magdalene field. So when I am surrounded by my queens, they deeply reflect to me my value, and they awaken my yes to myself and to what is possible, what is truly, truly possible. And they awaken my yes to myself and what is wanted versus what is not wanted. Okay? All right. So in a moment, for those of you that have your handout, there are these little petals in between. There's the sovereignty circle, there's the vision circle, there's the amplify circle, and there's a pink petal, there's a purple petal, there's a little gray petal in between the circles. So in a moment, I'm going to help you fill those out. What happens when sovereignty and vision come together? What happens when sovereignty and amplification come together? What happens when vision and amplification come together? Okay, so we'll talk about that in just a moment. We'll fill out the rest of our handouts, okay? So I have an invitation for you. So I'm just going to take a few minutes to share with you this invitation, and then we're going to come back and fill out the rest of our handout, okay? So I told you earlier that there's something just really beautiful. I have an invitation for something really beautiful happening next week, or starting next week. So here's my invitation. I want to invite you into a sisterhood of co-creation. I want you to surround yourself with other queens and conscious women leaders like you. I want to create with you a community of women who choose collaboration, who choose positive support. Because like I said, when I'm surrounded by my queens, they deeply reflect to me my value, and they awaken my yes to myself and what I'm creating. So my invitation for you is to join my ecstatic manifestation circle. This is all about resting, receiving, and manifesting with pleasure. This is a live, virtual 7-week manifestation initiation and sister circle. And I want to say before I tell you about it that even if you can't make all 7 weeks, I want you to join. So weeks 1, 2, and 3 is all about alignment. It's about using pleasure to familiarize your brain and your body with abundance. Using pleasure as a fuel so that you feel fulfilled and relevant and powerful regardless of your circumstances and regardless of world circumstances. I'm going to teach you pleasure rituals and practices that you can customize to nourish and make space for your dreams. And ultimately, in this weeks 1, 2, and 3 alignment, you are going to align from the core of who you are, your values, your sovereignty, your vision, your mission, to become even more creative and more productive. Weeks 4, 5, and 6 are all about transmitting and attracting, right? Embodying pleasure to actually manifest. So in weeks 4, 5, and 6, you're going to learn powerful exercises to jailbreak yourself from your current glass ceilings. You're going to learn how to use pleasure to gather your energy, to center, to focus, so that everything you do is amplified and magnified and more potent. You're going to be pairing your visions, your tasks, and your goals with pleasure to actually rewire your physiology and your brain for attracting and receiving. And I'm going to be talking a lot about the science of how to actually use pleasure to rewire your physiology and your brain. There's some amazing studies being done in hospitals and universities all around the country about pleasure, specifically women's pleasure, and how that actually changes our physiology and our experience, our experience, but also how it actually rewires your brain. So we'll be diving into that. Week 7 is all about grounding, using pleasure to sink even more deeply into your value and your center. Week 7 is all about deepening your trust in attracting more while doing less, expanding your capacity to truly rest and receive so you can create from a place of generating and attracting. And this is all about, week 7 is also, we're diving into attracting the right people who can support you on your journey, using pleasure to elevate your consciousness so people feel your light and your intentions and want to be around you. So this is the ecstatic manifestation. Rest, receive, and manifest with pleasure. It's a live virtual 7-week manifestation, initiation, and sister circle. And I'm going to go ahead and give you the link right here. So the link is here in your chat box. And I'll talk about just a couple of the bonuses that you get. I know some of you on the call were part of my Ecstatic Manifestation Circle in the fall. And some of the bonuses that you get, you're going to get 3 attuning, and in addition to our 7-week circle and everything that's included on the page that you're reading, the link that I just sent you. I'm also going to give you 3 attuning audio meditations that you can listen to over and over and over again that will actually reset your nervous system and clear irritable thoughts, because there's nothing that will bring us into our saboteur or out of our center with then stress and mind chatter. It also includes a 14-day sex magic initiation where I'm going to be teaching you all about sex magic. And in the sex magic initiation, you'll be increasing your ability to vision and attract with feminine wisdom and power, and use pleasure to expand past any boxes that you've outgrown. It also includes a 14-day cleanse. So you're actually going to choose a little bit of accountability. You're going to choose 1 to 3 items to let go of for 14 days. This might be an actual item like food or caffeine. We don't want you to let go of food, but you know what I mean, certain types of food. But it might be also a pattern that you want to just kind of disengage from. So you're going to choose a few things to let go of for 14 days and detox from anything that is pulling you out of your center and out of your power. Okay? My mentor wanted me to offer this at around $2,000, but I'm giving you a huge deal. I'm not charging $2,000. And I'll go into the logistics in a moment about the deal that I'm giving you that's for today. But here's what I want from you. I just really want you to feel my intentions. What I want for you, whether you do this 7-week circle or not, is I want you to stop letting Trump, stop letting neo-Nazis, stop letting all of the intensity that's happening right now. This year has been intense. It's like mass shootings and natural disasters and the North Bay fires and the Southern California fires. It's just been like one thing after another. What I want for you is to stop letting world chaos and intensity pull you out of your center. I want you to lead and create as a deeply centered woman, regardless of the chaos in the world. I want you to harness your upset and your anger at world chaos as motivation to live in pleasure so that you can create powerfully on your own terms. And I want you to stop trying to figure it out all alone. And I want you to stop trying to do manifestation. I want you to lean back into the support of a tribe of sisters who are also committed to being aligned and to leading with pleasure and mending the world. And the final thing that I want is to stop training your neurology for irritability and sabotage and overwhelm. I want you to expand your capacity to lean back and to receive from restfulness so that you can create from a place of generating and attracting. And I want you to create courageously from compassion and fulfillment and joy and freedom and spaciousness. So, my invitation is to join the Ecstatic Manifestation Circle. It's a 7-week manifestation initiation. Even if you can't make all 7 weeks, I want you to join. I hope that you're looking at the info page because it's just got beautiful information. Please join me. Your investment for this circle is $333. I'm sorry, your investment for the circle is $295. Woo! It's even better. Your investment for the circle is $295. And I know some of you are like, who's this girl? I don't even know her. I know that's a lot for me to ask from a hour and 15-minute webinar. And so I wanted to make it a little bit easier for you. If you'd like to break it up into 3 payments, there's also an option to make 3 payments of $111, which is a mystical number. 111 is a number of manifestation. And so now's the time. My offer is for now while we're on the call with each other. Yara gave a little emoji icon here. So I want to invite you to join. I have 11 women who are in the circle now. You can choose from 2 different circle times. You can choose Wednesday evenings. We start next Wednesday at the same time, 5 to 6:15 p.m. and for 7 Wednesdays. You can also choose mornings if this time slot wasn't quite right for you. Thursday mornings from 9 a.m. to 10:15 p.m. Oh, awesome. Tenley says a total of 7 weeks is less than $300. Yes, Tenley, I did not plant her. Yeah, I wanted to give you a huge deal. I just really want you ladies to, move into 2018 powerfully. So now is the time. I'm not going to be giving the same deal again. Like, this is the last time I will be offering. This is the only time I'll be offering this circle. So please, like, now is the time. If any part of you says yes, please go ahead and register with me now, and join now before we end the call, because I'm going to be opening it up for Q&A in a moment. So now's the time. Please join the Ecstatic Manifestation Circle, and you have the link. Awesome. Yeah, so 3 payments. So Holly, you said that the 3 payments, if you click on the link, I'll go ahead and post it again before we move on here. There is an option when you click the registration button to choose the 3 payment option. So you can do that right now while we continue. So that's my invitation for you. We're going to continue. We have 15 more minutes. I'm not done teaching. We're not done having a discussion here. So yes, I would love to for you ladies to join me. Oh, let's see. I accidentally posted that privately. Hold on a second. Here we go. Let me fix that real quick. Here's the link if you didn't get it before. Okay. Awesome. All right, beautiful. Tenley's signing up. Awesome. She says, I'm in. Great. Awesome. Oh my gosh, it'll be amazing to reconnect with you in this way, Tenley. Beautiful. You'll be a beautiful 12th addition to the 11 women who are already signed on from before the holidays. Okay, so let's learn. You can go ahead and do your registrations while we're talking. If you have your handout from earlier, we're switching gears. We're going to open up for Q&A in just a moment. Tenley has a question. Tenley, I'll answer your question in a moment, just so you know. All right, so here we go. Here's our handout. We've got sovereignty, vision, amplify. Let's take a look at that pink petal right in between sovereignty and vision. Okay, so the pink petal between sovereignty and vision, and you can write this in if you have your handout, is alignment. And I'm going to go ahead and, oh, awesome. I saw the Holly. Awesome. Holly signed up as well. I just saw your registration come through. Welcome, Holly. Beautiful. I'll send you an email soon. So alignment, that's the pink petal. Alignment is all about having a daily connection to the divine and engaging in radical self-care so that nothing can pull me out of my center. So when I've aligned my center and my values and my higher self and my mission, then I am automatically attracting people and opportunities in alignment with my values, which we talked about a little bit earlier. So alignment, like when you are aligned, you are living and leading as a magnetic creatress. That is, if there was an affirmation for alignment, this pairing, this melding of sovereignty and vision, it would be I live and lead as a magnetic creatress. So you can say that out loud or quietly to yourself. I live and lead as a magnetic creatress. And I just wrote that in there for you. So you can take that with you, put it on your handout. Okay, the next little petal is a pairing of vision and amplification. So the purple petal down towards the bottom. The purple petal is harmony. And we have a beautiful woman named Harmony on the call with us. It's so nice to reconnect with you, Harmony. So harmony is birthed from the pairing of vision and amplification. Harmony is like all about grace and ease. When you are harmonizing yourself with your surrounding environment, right? When you are harmonizing yourself with the many facets of your life, right? The parts of your consciously planted and nourished garden. When you are harmonizing yourself with the divine, then you are in harmony with your natal agreements. And you are living as the woman that you were born to be. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll put that all in there for you. It's like the affirmation for harmony. is that you are living as the woman that you were born to be, because you are in a harmony with your surrounding environment. You are in harmony with all the different parts of your life, consciously created, and you are harmonizing yourself with divine information, and you're in alignment with your natal agreements. That just feels delicious. Like, oh. All right, so the third petal, and then we're going to open it up for questions. The third petal is the little gray petal down below, and this is a pairing of amplification and sovereignty. Okay, amplification and sovereignty. So this is where we start talking about capacity. Capacity is that petal on your handout between amplification and sovereignty. So when you pair amplification with sovereignty, then you have cultivated the capacity to hold the life that you are calling in. Have you ever heard of the success flu? Success flu is, have you ever had the experience where you receive like a large amount of money, or you have some experience of major success, or maybe you get into like an awesome relationship that's like perfect, it's exactly what you've been calling in, and then you get sick? Or suddenly you feel really, really tired, right? Or maybe you have the experience of going through an upgrade, but you kind of feel, you literally get sick, or you feel a little flu, or you feel like you have to kind of like lay down and take a nap, maybe several days in a row. That's what I call the success flu. So sometimes what happens is we will manifest something amazing, but if we haven't cultivated the capacity to hold it, it can actually kind of impact us in a way that can look like sabotage. It can look like getting sick. It can look like getting really, really tired. So capacity. And the affirmation for capacity is, I live and lead and attain as an infinitely resourced woman. I live, lead, and attain as an infinitely resourced woman. So that's a beautiful affirmation you can take with you. All right. And then the little part in between, this is just for fun. This is just totally for fun. The little part in between where they all overlap, when it says AMA, A-M-A, is attraction, magnetism, and attainment. When you are engaging in sovereignty, vision, amplification, you are experiencing alignment, harmony, and capacity, then the kind of what's at the center of that whirlwind of all of those energies is attraction, magnetism, and attainment. Yes. Oh, good. I'm seeing smiles on faces. I'm so happy that that's resonating. So we're going to open it up for Q&A. And this could be questions about anything we talked about here. You could also ask questions about the Ecstatic Manifestation Circle. And I just want to say, like, now is the time to sign up. I am actually taking that pricing down. So you'll want to sign on while you're on the call if you can. Like, now's the time. But let me answer some questions. And let's see, I want to go back to Tenley's question. Tenley, this question is about she messaged me privately. It was about the circle. She says, the start date is tough for me. Is everything recorded and available later? And I will probably record the first few of the circles, so that's perfect. As we proceed through the 7 weeks, we're sharing more, we're getting more vulnerable, more open, so I don't necessarily want to record that, but I'll always record any of the teaching portions of those calls, when I'm teaching you about sex magic, when I'm teaching you about engaging in pleasure to attune yourself to prosperity, when I'm teaching you some of these other principles that are listed on the page, okay? So I will record those. Awesome. Any other questions? Yes, I'm so looking forward for you to join us, Tenley, so please do. You will get the full experience for sure. There was a woman who was engaging in the 14 days sex magic initiation that is part of this 7-week circle. We did the initiation in the fall, and she sold her first $10,000 package to a client. And she's just like, girl, this stuff works. So that was an awesome testimonial from my friend Amanda. Any questions? Let's open it up. Any questions? There must be questions. I know I was clear, but I'm sure there's still other things that you might be wondering about or wanting to know. So now's the time. Questions. Damina, Ria, Jennifer, Sherry, Jennifer. Got 2 Jennifers. Sophie. Any questions? Questions. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to unmute you all. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. Because sometimes it's nice to hear voices. Oh, good. Okay, great. All right, so you're all unmuted. So if you have a question, now you get to speak. You don't even have to type it. Ria, do you have a question? Are you there, sweetie? Oh, that was the cutest little sound.
Jessica, can you share with us what one of your favorite things that you're going to be teaching in your circle is?
Oh, awesome. Yeah, so let me mute you because I'm hearing little like mice voices. so yes, let me answer your question. Okay. Hold on a second. Let me actually pull up the page and let's see, what is my favorite part? Well, one of my favorite parts is the 14-day sex magic initiation because miracles open up for women. It's like what I was talking about when I was talking about my illness, like being in intense illness, engaging in sex magic, and literally within a month, I had to upgrade the event space I was using for FemTalks because we surpassed capacity. We went from FemTalks being like, 40, 50 women attending, which is still amazing. It was still incredible. I started engaging in sex magic and suddenly like 80, 90 women were showing up to my events every month. So that's one. Let me take a look through the circle here to some of the favorite things. We do some of these things we were talking about doing like values audits. We do some of that work in the circle where you just really get in alignment with your values and your mission. But we also, I think my favorite part is the rituals. I give you a bunch of rituals. I think on the page it says that I give you 4 rituals, but I actually give you so many more because sometimes I'll just on the spot, because a woman will be asking me something, I'll be like, hey, here's another ritual. So I give you rituals and handouts so that you can really cater those. And it's really like, having a bunch of different rituals. And so many of you already have amazing rituals, but having a bunch of different rituals that you can call on in any moment to just change your state, change your energy, change your mindset, to clear anything that doesn't need to be there, to open yourself, to call in what it is you said you would call in 2018. That's what really lights me up. So I hope that answers your question. The rituals, definitely the sex magic initiation, absolutely. Whatever else it was I said, I'm not looking at the page anymore. Jennifer says, is there an origin to the sex magic? So yes, so one of the things that you do get as part of the Ecstatic Manifestation Circle is a reading list of resources that books and reading resources that I have cultivated, but also that I've curated from other women in previous circles that I've hosted. And there are a lot of books that go into kind of some of the more ancient roots of what you might call sex magic, some directly talking about, for example, like the relationship between Mary Magdalene and Jesus, whether those are people that actually existed or those are energies or archetypes. Those are some ancient stories. So I think that the roots go back, as far as I know, to the cult of Isis, which is a priestess lineage that goes back to ancient Egyptian times, and even has ties with kind of some of the stories of like the myths of Avalon and the kind of the priestesses we think of that time in Europe. There's those roots go very, very deep. So yeah, there's a lot to say about some of the history of sex magic and what it actually means, right? Because we have taken the word sex in our culture and really, really warped it. And what I'm talking about is a very pure very pure energy of creation. It's almost like an energy of childlike wonderment. Okay, so more questions. Will you be teaching anything about the goddess archetypes and shadow work? We will be doing some shadow work, but we are not doing anything hardcore. I used to engage in what I call like a hardcore shadow work, and hardcore anger work as well. And when I've come over the years as I've gotten older, I've just found that sometimes the more gentle path gets you to the exact same place. So yes, we'll be doing some shadow work, but your experience of it will be that it's just very like lovingly held. And I don't think it will feel like shadow work, but you'll definitely notice some shifts, and we'll definitely be looking at different aspects of our lives, especially as related to our power and related to our values and our vision and our mission. Okay. Let's see. Tenley said, the only book I've read, she messaged me privately, the only book I've read more than once is the Magdalene Manuscript. Yes, that's on the resource page. I love the Magdalene Manuscript, one of my favorite books of this life. So thanks for sharing. Awesome. Beautiful, beautiful. Any other questions about anything we talked about today, or about the circle anything I can address? Because we're actually at time. So I'll take one more question. I do want to honor our time, but I can stay for a little bit longer. I don't have any plans. So I understand if you need to leave or trickle off, then blessings, blessings, blessings to you, sisters. I want to appreciate you for being and staying the whole time. Basically everyone, I think one woman popped off, but then she popped back on. Everyone stayed the entire time. You're amazing. What amazing magnetic women you all already are. I hope you will join me for the 7-week circle. It starts next week, Wednesday evenings, Thursday mornings. Please, please join. I'm trying to make it easy for you with a 3-payment plan. Okay, cool. So let's see. Sherry says her question's about the circle. Can we come some mornings and some evenings? Thank you, Damina. Thank you so much. She says, thank you. Great webinar. So Sherry, I'm okay if you need to do makeup circles and you need to go to one circle or the other. I'm actually okay with that. It's set up in such a way that I really want to honor our schedules as busy women. So my answer is yes. And if you can't make it to all 7 of the circles, there's so much juicy content with the initiation and the resources that you get, the audio meditations, the book list, and some of the other handouts and things that I'm going to be sending to you. It's okay if you can't be a part of all the circles. I hope you can. That would be ideal. But yes, you can do morning or evening. Oh, awesome. Okay, great. Oh, Sherry just signed up. Awesome. A couple other women. Great. Oh, so I've had 3 women. Great. 3 of you hopped on. Great. Holly, I don't know who Moon 900 is yet because I can't see on my phone, but that's exciting. Yay. I'm happy. So I know we're past our time, but I will stay on for a little bit longer just to be in the deliciousness with you. I feel like I'm in a hot tub right now. I wish we could all be in a hot tub and have champagne and strawberries with each other. That would be so delicious. Oh, awesome. Sherry, I'm so delighted that you joined the circle. Yes, it will be fun and definitely exciting playing with you and the women. I'm so happy to reconnect with you in this way, Sherry. I'm so deeply happy. Thank you. Damina, yes, you mentioned handouts. I find I can read easier than watch videos and download more info. Will there be workbooks with the transcripts of the videos? So the videos, let me just see what you are talking about. So the videos, there aren't really any videos. It's actually us coming together for circles just like this. So don't worry, there aren't any like video lessons. All of it will be stuff that we're actually talking about in person. And if I'm teaching something, I may record it so that women who can't be there can watch. But don't worry, you don't have homework where you have to go watch videos. It's all going to be in the form of handouts and us being live. You'll also have a private Facebook group. And I'm going to encourage you to share through live stream videos. But if writing and journaling, if you would rather journal and share, that's fine too. There's really like zero rules around that. The Opulent Woman's Self-Care Checklist is actually something that you print out and like physically write on. So yeah, it's a very interactive and you know, where you actually be like writing and journaling and reading with actual paper in your hand or on your screen. And I hope that makes sense. Oh, the other part I'm excited about, for those of you that are still on with me, is that each woman is going to get an individual ceremony. Like, we will all be doing a ritual for you individually over the course of the 7 weeks. There will be, each woman will get a turn having all of us kind of like basically be in manifestation space with you. And it's a very powerful experience of having what it is you're calling in actually be held by the whole community. Really, really cool. And I want you to see what magical things open up. Amy says, thank you so much. Oh, beautiful, Amy. Thank you. Damina says, thank you. Harmony, thank you. Beautiful. Excited to join you. Oh, Terry Moon. That was the Moon 900. Okay, awesome. Got it. Awesome, beautiful. Oh, so excited. Oh, happy times. Yay. Oh, I should unmute you. I don't know what I'm going to unmute you if anyone wants to say anything.
I don't know what that noise
I don't know what that noise is either. It's like a little like Minnie Mouse or something. It's really cute. I think it was Damina. For some reason, some funny sound coming from your computer, Damina. Yay. Hi, Lorna. Hi, Tenley. Hi, Terry. Hi, Sherry. I don't know if Sophie's still with us. Hi, Sophie. Hi, Jennifer. How do you pronounce this name? It's Jahti.
Jahti.
Jahti. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful name.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Oh, Tenley's asking if there's a PayPal option. There's not on the registration page, but if someone needs to PayPal me, I'm happy to set that up. I can send a link to the email. You can just reply to any of the emails I sent you, and I'm totally happy to hook you up that way, Tenley. Is that better for you, Tenley, to do PayPal?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Yeah. So email me what payment plan you want to do, and then I'll send you a link that is in alignment with that plan. Yay. And Ria, I don't know if this is the Ria that I think it is. I have to actually look up your last name on Ria Santos. I don't know if this is Ria Santos or not, if she's still here. Awesome. Oh, good. Oh, Tenley, I see your note. Beautiful. I will go ahead and email you the link that will do the monthly subscription for the 3. Yeah, I'll do that as soon as we get off here. Awesome. Yay, beautiful sister. So honored. Well, beautifuls, I'm going to sign off. I'm so happy that you're all still here. It's like, we can do this every week starting next week for those of you that join. So I look forward to connecting with you all. So much love to you. And bye-bye.